listening to another episode of Tu Tia Bruja. I'm Bex Carlos, your host. So today's episode is going to cover astrology. You might be wondering, what are houses? So to start, there are 12 houses. It is possible with your chart for you to have planets not in specific houses. That doesn't mean anything other than the fact that the characteristics of that planet do not influence that specific house. Okay, so your first house, which is over first impressions that you give, your appearance, body, attitude, approach to life. So I have a Sagittarius in my first house. I'm a Sagittarius rising. So qualities of a Sagittarius are they're optimistic, they're progressive, they're adventurous, they're optimistic. However, some downfalls. Can't tell them what to do. You cannot contain them, and they love freedom. So that being said, if you know a little bit about me, I am a very optimistic person. I mean, I make a lot of efforts to decolonize, and I know that I'm still like a long way from the end, but I am open to growing. I'm very sure about things. So I definitely possess a lot of those Sagittarius qualities. Your second house, which is over money, security, self worth, values, possessions, work ethic. So it's interesting because just as you can have no planets in your house, you can also have multiple. So, my second house, I have 3 planets in my second house. And long story short, I have a complicated relationship with money. So, yeah, and not just with money, I feel like sense of security. I think that being a femme presenting person in this universe always makes us wonder if we're good enough, if our self worth is up to par with where it should be. And, money and all those correlations, possessions, work ethic. There's a lot happening there. Someone you should follow on social media if you're not already is definitely Melissa at Temperance Home and Bar. She gives a lot of advice on just like daily things that you could do in your practice to make you just a little bit more knowledgeable. I think that education is super important with being a practitioner, and it's important to find different ways to do the same thing because sometimes you get sick of doing the same thing. So definitely check out Melissa at Temperance Home and Bar. Her information's in the show notes. Let's get back into the episode. Then I don't have anything in my third house or my fifth house. But just to cover those, so your third house is over communication, your siblings, cousins, travel, short trips, electronics, and hobbies. Your fourth house is your home, traditions, family, inner emotion, how we are nurtured, and your self care. Your fifth house is romance, dating, creativity, creating children, self expression, and joy. Your sixth house is over daily routines, health, fitness, pets, work habits, service, and organization. Your seventh house is over relationships, marriage, business partners, and what we look for in a partner. So I have Gemini in my seventh house. For example, that means that I'm attracted to people who are adaptable, outgoing, intelligent. However, they're probably going to also be like indecisive, impulsive, unreliable. So those qualities probably show themselves in the people who I have these relationships with, whether professional or personal. It's weird. I'm a Leo, so I've always heard that like a Gemini is a good match for a Leo because there's a lot of qualities that we share. And I think that they just have that really big personality. So, you kind of just need someone who's going to balance you. Your eighth house, which is over intimacy, sex, shared finances, loans, inheritances, the occult, depth, and mystery. Your ninth house, which is big picture thinking, beliefs, religion, law, culture, higher education, travel, and writing. Your 10th house is career status, long term goals, public image, reputation, and your bosses. Your 11th house is networks, your internet, friend groups, humanitarianism, hopes and wishes, and your future. And finally, your 12th house is your subconscious, solo time, karma, spirituality, the afterlife, addiction, and intuition. Hopefully that cleared up some questions that you might have in regards to houses. I know that it can be a little confusing if you've been looking at your natal chart and just like, what does this all mean? It again cleared up a little bit of information for you. Well, thank you again for listening. I really appreciate it. Be sure and follow us on the socials at Tutia Bruja on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow me personally at Bexby Caston and check out my website, which is bexbycaston.com. You can get in contact with me. You can book a reading. If you're looking for an audio editor, definitely give me a call. Otherwise, thank you for listening, and I'll chat with you a little bit more tomorrow. Bye.